From Arsenal's perspective, it's about responding from a disappointing defeat at Bournemouth.
Well, Shakhtar Donetsk get us underway. 5 Live final score is available tonight on the red button as well, and there's been already a host of goals that have been scored in the Football League. So I can quickly tell you: Exeter 0, Reading 1, Walsall lead Carlisle by a goal to 0. The League One leaders Birmingham are ahead against Bolton Wanderers. Salford City leads Swindon 1-0. We know about Leeds United leading. Cardiff leading Portsmouth 2-0. Preston are leading Norwich by 2 goals to 0 as Arsenal get the ball out towards Martinelli, and Martinelli running forward at pace and with real purpose enters the penalty area. Martinelli's cross gets deflected behind for a corner kick. Barrow lead Notts County by a goal to 0. Chesterfield 0, Colchester 1 is the latest in League 2. Cheltenham 0, Bradford City 1, Peterborough 1, Blackpool 0, Oxford 1, Derby County 0, Cardiff 2, Portsmouth 0, and Stoke City leading Bristol City by 2 goals to 0. So you're already quickly up to date, and will continue to feed those scores in throughout what will be a busy night of football here on BBC Radio 5 Live. The first of 3 nights of successive European action. And Arsenal have a corner kick in front of that away end, in that corner on that far side. They're playing from left to right as we look. It's an in-swinger towards the far post, and actually Dimitro Richnik did ever so well to get a touch on that with a hand as Trossard spins away from his man, clips over the cross. Hasn't been properly dealt with yet by Shakhtar, and Arsenal are very much on the front foot in these opening 90 seconds, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, there's a wicked ball in from the corner. The goalkeeper Wisnik did well just to palm it away. Arsenal renowned for their set-piece routine.
Diagonal ball from Rice out to Jesus, the Arsenal captain, off the chest, cushioned control off the right boot, plays it off this right-hand side to White as he fouled there by Eguinaldo. The referee says no. He's a French referee. Benoit Bastien is the official with his ultra-blue referee's jersey as Arsenal are attacking. Trossard to Jesus. There's a really quick tempo about Arsenal's play. Jesus cuts into the penalty area, plays it in low towards Trossard, and it was swept away to safety by Matvienko, the Shakhtar captain, as Peterborough now lead Blackpool by 2 goals to 0 at Priestfield. Gillingham 0, Newport 1, and Wycombe Wanderers lead at Burton by a goal to 0 as Cheltenham have equalised at home to Bradford City.
Yeah, really fast start from Arsenal. I wondered how they'd set up with Jesus, whether he'd play centrally as a striker. He hasn't. He's playing wide on the right-hand side. Arsenal set up as a 4-4-2. Trossard and Havertz playing as the strikers, but of course both will come deep at times.
From 22 games without a goal as Gabriel Jesus, who one of his 4 career hat-tricks in English football was actually against Shakhtar during his time at Manchester City. But it's been a positive start by the home team on what is an extremely mild night in North London. 3 minutes played as Marino Pusic, the 53-year-old coach of Shakhtar, born in Bosnia, now has Dutch citizenship. Was actually 5 years he spent under Arne Slot as his assistant at AZ Alkmaar and also to Feyenoord, and actually turned down the chance to join Arne Slot in the summer when he became the Liverpool manager. Liverpool come here at the weekend. 4:30 kickoff, goes without saying. Commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. As Havertz, who could create a bit of history tonight by getting a club record, finds it to Jesus, couldn't nick it into the path of White. If he scores tonight, he would have scored in 8 consecutive home games. It would be a stadium record, and he'd be the first Arsenal player in 24 years, and only the 4th in their history to do 8 in 8. And here is Havertz, and he looks across the ball from the penalty area right-hand side, turned behind by Matvienko. Corner kick to Arsenal, 0-0.
Yeah, really careless play from Shakhtar Donetsk at the back, cut out, and Havertz ended up driving to the byline and crossing the ball, but that was cut out. In turn, really good start, positive start from Arsenal. Mikel Arteta will be desperate to get that first goal, settle things down. But so far they've responded well.
And also, I'd imagine, build a lead, and therefore maybe midway through the second half look to make changes to rest a few players with that Liverpool game in mind. But we shall see how it pans out as Trossard waits to take the corner kick on this near side, the right. 0-0. Trossard, left-footed, goes in towards the near post, actually comes off the head of Krishkiv, loops over his own goal and behind for another corner kick that Trossard will take once more on this near side. Queen's Park Rangers are struggling in the Championship, 4 straight defeats, bottom of the table, and they're behind at home to Coventry City by a 1-0. As Trossard waits to take the corner once again, places it down carefully in the quadrant. Gabriel Jesus, the Arsenal captain for the night, runs out to this near side, the right, as an option. The left arm goes aloft from Trossard, a lot of activity. In it goes, falls to Calafiore, left-footed, 6 yards out, puts it over the crossbar. First chance for Arsenal, couldn't take it.
The ball in is wicked again from Trossard. Arsenal have 5 players beyond the far post. It's a left-footed in-swinger, and as the ball drops to Calafiore, he's 6 yards out, just has to hit the target there, leans back, he is under pressure with the shot, but balloons it over the bar. That's a golden opportunity, and Arsenal haven't taken it.
Playing out from the back, Matvienko turns back to his goalkeeper in a lilac goalkeeping outfit, and then here is Dmitro Riznik, who missed the recent game against Czechia through injury, but he was back on Friday night, but they've lost the ball, and Arsenal could profit here. This is Trossard just outside the D of the penalty area, finds Jesus right side of the box. He sends over a deep ball over the head of Martinelli, going away from goal. Back heel from Calafiore keeps the ball in play, but presents it to Zubkov, but Shakhtar just can't hold on to the ball long enough.
Can't get up the pitch. Their principle in football is the build-up play better than the opposition's press, and Arsenal pressing Shakhtar so well. Shakhtar haven't been able to get out at all, trying to play out from the back.
Surprising scoreline in League Two. Bromley, who've gone 11 games without a win, have taken the lead at second place Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster Rovers 0, Bromley 1 as the ball goes out towards that far side, but the ginger-haired right back, Conor Plear, one of the 3 changes coming into the side, leaps high, heads it away. Shakhtar get a throw. How they started at Villa Park? Lee Blakeman.
Decent, Ian. 6 minutes in, Villa 0, Bologna 0, but Villa starting to find their rhythm already. Duran's had a shot blocked 8 yards out, and then a couple of decent corners have come in as well. The atmosphere is absolutely brilliant, but it's Villa 0, Bologna 0 at the moment.
Thank you, Lee. As Aston Villa, 2 wins from 2. Looking to build on that. Bologna have only picked up just 1 point so far in this league phase of the Champions League, and indeed, along with Shakhtar, 2 of the 4 sides who are yet to score this season. Salzburg and Young Boys are the 2 other sides looking to break their duck. As Eguinaldo there has taken the ball off the toes of White, cuts forward and still has it in the penalty area, but it's Gabriel with a clearance, a partial clearance, that's got to be said. Eguinaldo looked like he was coming back for an offside position, and indeed the flag has been raised on that far side as Shakhtar, all in black with the orange trim, play from right to left. 0-0, 8 minutes played. Chris Sutton.
And that was just sloppy from Ben White. Arsenal going man for man. The ball clipped up the line. Ben White in control. Dallied too long, and all of a sudden Eguinaldo pinched the ball off him, was driving towards the Arsenal box, but nothing came of it. Don't want to give Shakhtar Donetsk, Arsenal any encouragement in this game. They'll be trying to smother them and get that early goal, which so far has eluded them.
They've had a long line of Brazilians down the past. It certainly served them well before the war in their homeland. But Fred, Fernandinho, Willian spring to mind. There was a time, actually, one Champions League squad where they had 13 Ukrainians and 13 Brazilians. Now they've got 7 in their squad, so there is still a strong sprinkling of Brazilians in this Shakhtar side. Eguinaldo is one of them, 20 years of age, second season after he arrived from Vasco da Gama, as it remains 0-0 in the 10th minute here at the Emirates on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app.
Yeah, it's fair to say they're not the force they once were in the Champions League.
Havertz leaves it for Jesus. Tempo's just dropped a fraction for Arsenal in their red and white shirts and white shorts. White short of the halfway line. His shorts actually pulled up quite high on that right thigh. exposing a lot of flesh as he touches the ball to Jesus, gets it back. They work it towards Saliba. They won't be appealing that red card, so he'll be suspended for the one game, so he'll miss Liverpool at the weekend. Will Saliba, who played in every minute of the Premier League last season, only one of two outfield players to do so. Max Kilman, when he was at Wolves, was the other. Here is Partey. Calafiore said how he liked to cut inside and roam against Paris Saint-Germain on match day 2. There he was in a central area once again as the ball is played out towards Jesus, quickly closed down by Enrique, but Jesus gets away from him, and Gabriel Jesus then stopped on the edge of the penalty area by Krishkiv. But again, Shakhtar can't keep the ball.
No, and that's because Arsenal are so aggressive with the press, but most of the good things for Arsenal have come off the right-hand side. Ball out to Jesus, driving inside. On that occasion, Krishkiv, who's got a crucial role alongside Bondarenko in that Shakhtar Donetsk midfield, sitting in front of the back four, screening the back four. Challenge was timely.
Ball played on the right-hand side towards Havertz, but it was quickly spotted by Dmitro Riznik, and the keeper lets it run out of play for a goal kick. Just keeping an eye on Gabriel Jesus. When he was stopped on the edge of the area in that challenge with Krishkiv, he's hobbling a little bit. I think he's been caught on his right ankle, but as you know, Chris, I'm not a doctor, so you might want to correct me.
Yeah, he's feeling the effects of that challenge from Krishkiv.
Andrei Shevchenko, president of the Ukrainian Federation, is here tonight, watching on as the Ukrainian supporters on that far side. A lot of the yellow and blue. There's a smattering of bright orange. Are jumping up and down in unison. Who will ever forget in the playoff games that they had ahead of the World Cup against Scotland at Hampden? Very emotional. And then obviously at Cardiff when they lost out to Wales. Missed out on an opportunity despite being the better side. There was fervent support on that occasion, and indeed it mentioned Shevchenko, but Mikhailo Mudryk is also here tonight in attendance at the Emirates after leaving for that club record fee when they sold him to Chelsea.
Yeah, there was a time when it looked like he was going to sign for Arsenal.
Yes, as Jesus over the head of Jesus. Georgi Sudakov is the latest player who they might be looking to cash in on. The 22-year-old has been linked with Arsenal, Tottenham as well as Liverpool quite strongly, but they're yet to really get him into the game at all in these opening 13 minutes, 0-0. And in fact Sudakov with a back pass that Riznik did well to control because it was quite strongly hit. His clearance is picked up on that far side, and then they lose the ball and Martinelli trots forward. Blackpool have got a goal back. Peterborough United 2, Blackpool 1 is the latest score in League One. Here is Rice, now finds White midway through the Shakhtar half. Out to the right touchline it goes. Jesus back with White once again. And White passes it then to Jesus once more. He was White back in the side after a 4-game absence against Bournemouth at the weekend, where they of course suffered that defeat, their first defeat of the season, and they're looking to respond after that 2-0 setback as Saliba hits it towards White, and White just can't get there. It was overhit, out it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think it's a big night for Gabriel Jesus. He can't quite find a rhythm this season for Arsenal. You know, there are reasons for that. Played as a central striker against Atalanta and was pretty isolated. It was a strong defensive display from Arsenal, but didn't really carry a threat going forward. They played for a draw that evening, but tonight they have come out of the traps, come out fast and really aggressive with the press, but other than the Calafiore chance from a corner, haven't really caused Shakhtar Donetsk too many problems.
Well, we were in Bergamo that night for the game against Atalanta. You're right, they were extremely cautious. It was something like 9 touches in the opposition penalty area as Matvienko chips the ball out the back under pressure from the press, and it was too long over the head of Valery Bondar, and it goes out for an Arsenal throw, almost level with the penalty area on the left-hand side. Arsenal get it. Every outfield player is in the half away towards our right. Peterborough United have re-established a 2-goal cushion against Blackpool. They lead Blackpool by 3-1 at London Road. Here is Saliba inside the centre circle. Gabriel passes the ball forward. Rice able to turn. Out now towards Martinelli, running forward at pace. Left side of the area, sends over a cross. Havertz was there. Matvienko heads it away. Comes back towards Jesus, but Enrique will get there first. And we'll get an update from Villa Park and Lee Blakeman.
Villa 0, Bologna 0, but the best two chances of the game have gone Bologna's way. Delinga with a shot 8 yards out. Excellent save low down to his left by Emi Martinez. And then Martinez was called on again just after that to deny Ricardo Orsolini at his near post. Villa 0, Bologna 0.
Wigan 0, Mansfield 1 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on a busy night of action in the Football League here on BBC Radio 5 Live, with exclusive radio commentary from inside the Emirates here tonight on the radio, as Eguinaldo from Enrique touches the ball now towards Seacan with a face mask. Eguinaldo has gone inside, gets the shot away, charged down, balloons up in the air and behind for a corner kick to Shakhtar. 16 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, that was a sensational counter-attack from Shakhtar Donetsk. Really sloppy pass from Saliba out to Jesus. Enrique, the left back, intercepted. Fed Eguinaldo, and in turn fed Seacan back to Eguinaldo, and the shot from the edge of the box. It's a good block from Gabriel. I think that may have just been heading into the far corner, but that shows they carry a threat.
Arsenal, who are yet to concede in this Champions League campaign, as we've said, Shakhtar are yet to score. They take the corner short, and then on that right touchline they work it into the penalty area. Matvienko lays it out towards the right. It was Zubkov fired in the cross on the run, blocked out of play. It goes for a Shakhtar throw in the 17th minute of this contest, as Cambridge United, who got their first win of the season at the weekend, have now taken the lead at Broadhall Way. Stevenage 0, Cambridge United 1, a latest score in League One. So things picking up for Gary Monk and his players, as Shakhtar in possession and seeing a sustained spell of possession here on that far side, the right. Zubkov strokes the ball back. This will be Bondar who'll control it with the outside of his right boot, just outside the centre circle of his own half, and then gets the ball from Bondarenko, and then over on that far side it's played forward. A little layoff by Seacan. Eguinaldo has made the run with his back to goal in the penalty area. Seacan plays it out. The right back is pushed on. This is Konoplea, a little bit off balance with the cross. Eguinaldo tries to head it out, and then flicked on further by Partey on the edge of the area, but Shakhtar growing in confidence.
Yep, 17, 18 minutes into the game now. You mentioned good little spell of possession. I tell you, Eguinaldo, first time I've seen him, he looks lively, doesn't he? Great pace and drifting inside on that left-hand side, giving the Arsenal back line plenty to think about.
Well, they're having a good spell of the ball, the Ukrainian champions, as it remains 0-0. Update from Ellen Road, Adam Cottier.
We're in the 33rd minute here. Leeds still lead Watford 2-0. The goals in the first 7 minutes. Wilfried Gnonto's come close twice for Leeds, and they are looking to add to that. They've lost Ramazani to injury, though. It's Leeds 2, Watford 0.
Free kick to Arsenal. It was adjudged to be handball by Leandro Trossard, just outside the centre circle of the Shakhtar half. So here on 5 Live, there'll be a free kick to Shakhtar Donetsk, whose coach, Pusic, is very animated, casual looking, with his greying hair, white pumps, but probably a sweater that Pep Guardiola you could see wear it at some stage during the season.
Yeah, he likes a sweater, doesn't he, Pep?
Gillingham 0, Newport County 2 is the latest score in League 2.
I think he likes a designer sweater, a bit like yourself, Ian.
Well, I think that's a designer sweater. I wasn't just going to say the brand, but if you've seen Pep Guardiola, you'll know exactly the one that we're talking about, as Riznik, the keeper, clears it away. They work it now to Havertz as they lose the ball. Trossard on the half volley, snatched at it. 12 yards out from goal, left-footed, and he mishit it, and it drifts aimlessly behind for a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, it's good link-up. Careless at the back from Shakhtar Donetsk. The ball fell to Martinelli, who helped the ball over. I think it's Bondar in the centre-back position, and I wonder whether Havertz could have got a shot off. He didn't. He fed Trossard, who made a real mess of that. Slashed at it left-footed. and high and wide. Real lack of composure there from Trossard.
I noticed that Kyle Hudlin has scored the second goal for Newport at Gillingham. He's 6'9", the striker. He
must be the tallest.
He's one of the tallest
ever.
footballers I've seen. When I saw him, I had to Google actually how tall he was, but he's 6'9", Kyle Hudlin. I think he's on loan from Huddersfield. Burton have equalised at home to Wycombe Wanderers 1-1. Burton, who are yet to win, they're bottom of League One. 0-0 in the Champions League, though, here at the Emirates, and goalless at Villa Park too.
6'9".
Yeah.
Has there ever been a 7-foot footballer?
Well, I don't know.
You should know.
Here is Partey. To Jesus, coming in up the right touchline. Edge of the area, cross, tucked in though was Joachim Konoplea, the right back, cleared it away. Arsenal have got it back. Partey to Rice. Rice looks like he's going to shoot. He is, gets it away off his right foot, but it's right-footed, off target, left of the goal, and out for a goal kick as it remains 0-0. Barnsley lead Charlton by a 1-0 at Oakwell in League One. And whilst Chris Googles whether there's ever been a 7-foot footballer, we'll go to Lee Blakeman at Villa Park.
Villa free kick, 22 yards out. It's just been taken by Tielemans. Training ground move, worked it to Bailey, left side of the area. His ball across the face of goal, top behind. We have had 20 minutes, Ian. Villa 0, Bologna 0.
Cheers, Lee. Arsenal are attacking right-hand side. Jesus passes the ball back to Saliba. Again, Shakhtar have got every player in the black shirts behind the ball. Arsenal are going to have to be patient to try and break them down here at the Emirates as Havertz side onto goal. Controls it with the outside of his left foot, plays it out towards Martinelli. Martinelli on his toes, running forward, and then the little flick by Trossard at the near post, off target, goal kick, goalless.
Really good piece of centre-forward play from Kai Havertz, receiving the ball on the edge of the box, holding Bonder off and popping the ball out to Martinelli. That's a good head-to-head. Martinelli and Konoplea, a good little shift onto his left foot and crossed the ball in, but Trossard had run well beyond the near post, and the deflected effort went well wide of the goal.
Blocked there by Gabriel on Seacam. He's wearing a face mask, is the Shakhtar striker, because he broke his nose against Bologna. Missed 4 games, only came back on Friday. Ukrainian international striker. They were unable to take advantage of that forward ball as now Martinelli dances down that far left touchline, 0-0 midway through the Shakhtar half. Passes the ball back to Gabriel. Now he plays it to the edge of the centre circle for Saliba. White just waits. Forward ball that is lifted into the path of Havertz in area of space on this right-hand side. We're midway through the first half, and it remains 0-0. I would guess it's unlikely that there's ever been a 7-foot footballer.
Well, I was just thinking and just racking my brain. I think was there not a Danish goalkeeper, Simon Block Jorgensen, who was nearly 7 foot, I think.
Well, here is Gabriel Jesus with the cross, headed out by Bondar, edge of the area. Partey slides into the challenge. He might have just caught Sudakov, but despite the protests of the Shakhtar coach, play continues, and Arsenal have it again on that far side with Martinelli. Calafiore helps him out. Calafiore shoots, and it's a comfortable save. When you say you think, it's actually written down in front of you on our producer's phone.
Come on. You're better than that.
Well, I thought you were better than that. That was just a blatant lie.
Tell you what surprises me, that as a fact, if it is a fact, I thought there would be one in the world. Just one.
Well, talking of one, Sporting have just got one at Sturm Graz. Sturm Graz 0, Sporting 1. So that's one of, I think that's the first goal in the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League. There's games at obviously Villa Park, Girona, Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid. And you just had a chance at Villa Park, Lee.
We did, Ian, for John McGinn. Good work down the left. Ian Matson pulled it back to McGinn, 16 yards out, right foot, side foot. Good save by goalkeeper Skorupski, low down to his left. 23 gone, Villa 0, Bologna 0.
Exeter City 0, Reading 2 is the latest score in League One. 5 live final scorers available on the red button. 25 minutes played in this Champions League game. Tomorrow, by the way, Atalanta Celtic There'll be simulcast with Radio Scotland's coverage. That'll be on Sports Extra from 5:45. And then tomorrow night we are live in Germany, Leipzig against Liverpool. We'll have news of Manchester City against Sparta Prague. And on Thursday night, live in Istanbul, Fenerbahce against Manchester United in the Europa League. So 3 successive nights of European action here on 5 Live. Also keeping an eye on the Championship, and Adam Cottier is in West Yorkshire.
Leeds lead Watford by 2-0, but Watford have just had their first meaningful shot. An effort from Shakhtar from the edge of the box, curling towards the top corner, well saved by Meslier in the Leeds goal. Leeds 2, Watford 0.
David Raya, all in yellow, away towards our left with the clearance. Enrique plays it on the half volley forward. Bondarenko in the challenge with Partey, dive forward. The referee said there was no foul. Saliba has it at the heart of the Arsenal defence, and then Gabriel out towards Calafiore, and here is Rice. And at the minute, with the exception of that Calafiore chance after 5 minutes, 6 yards out over the top, a couple of efforts from distance have gone off target, struggling to work the keeper.
Yep, and very obvious thing to say, they miss Odegaard, they miss Saka. Creative players. They've got to find a way. They've got to move the ball quicker, I think. Shakhtar Donetsk really trying to block that central area, not let the likes of Trossard and Havertz get on the ball and get on that half turn. Calafiore there in that inverted role in midfield. They haven't been really able to create anything too clear-cut, Arsenal.
Calafiore then, when Chris was talking, was actually higher up the pitch than Martinelli was on that far side, the left. They played the ball back. Rice in the centre circle goes to Trossard, who drops deep, right-hand side, area of space for him to run into. He's got Sudakov ahead of him. He clips over the cross, but it needs a better distribution than that, because it was always curling away from Martinelli, and it goes tamely out for a goal kick. 0-0, 27 minutes played.
Yeah, he tried to force that Trossard ball, which that would have been a miracle pass, 50-60 yards across field to Martinelli. But you can see the longer this first half goes on, that Shakhtar Donetsk, they're beginning to fancy this. Look quite comfortable at this moment in time. Not like they've had a lot of possession, but Arsenal need to be careful.
Shakhtar, Bondarenko gets a couple of touches. Quite tall and lean is the 24-year-old who's come up through the youth academy and is fast approaching 100 appearances for the club. Again, he's dropped in alongside the 2 central defenders, and as a result of that, they've pushed the fullbacks quite high. So the ball is now launched long. It was Zubkov who'd made that run into a central area because of that Conor Player had gone forward on that right-hand side. It allowed Zubkov to join Sikan in the attack, so there was a degree of flexibility from Shakhtar Donetsk, as now they drop off the black shirts. Arsenal have the ball. Havertz appears on the right-hand side. Back it goes towards White. Calafiore in that central area, 10 yards shy of the centre circle. Reaches Rice. Rice able to turn. Martinelli out wide left. Martinelli now onto the ball. Enters the penalty area. Martinelli cuts inside, then waits. Calafiore in overlap as Martinelli shoots, comes back off the post and goes in off the goalkeeper. An element of good fortune as Arsenal take the lead. That'll go down as an own goal, but just before the half hour they get the breakthrough. Arsenal 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0.
You should not let Martinelli inside on his right foot, is always trying to work that, and the thing which allows him to do that is Calafiore's run. He overlaps Martinelli, gives Konoplia something to think about, and Martinelli comes inside, fires the shot off, hits the post. The goalkeeper Riznik gets really unlucky, off the post into Riznik's rear and goes over the Shakhtar Donetsk goal line, and Arsenal get the goal which they've been desperate for.
You really got a feel for the goalkeeper. The effort right-footed from Martinelli had beaten him, and he was left in a squatting position, and there was nothing that he could do once it had cannoned off his body and over the goal line.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Off the post, hammers him in the buttocks and over the line. just when I'm saying that they're probably feeling quite comfortable, Shakhtar Donetsk. And it's good from Martinelli, but I mean, blimey, how many times have you seen that over the years? Him coming inside and firing a shot off with his right foot and it hitting the back of the net. It was good from Calafiori, though, to allow him to just give Konoplia something to think about. And that's all it took for him to come on the inside. And Arsenal where they want to be now. And Shakhtar Donetsk haven't scored a goal in the Champions League so far. They're going to have to think about changing the game plan.
A reward for Arsenal from the rebound from Riznik. As Partey looks for the ball over the top for Trossard. Bondar will leave this for the keeper, who comes out of his penalty area and hammers it right-footed high downfield. As Sikan will give chase, Calafiore will marshal the ball safely out of play for a throw.
He's fitted in well, hasn't he, Calafiore?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, really smart signing. Looks like he's played in an Arsenal jersey for years. He can defend, and when he goes into that inverted role, he handles the ball, which Mikel Arteta demands.
Now, before Monaco's lead against Red Star Belgrade, as Martinelli races away on that left-hand side, Martinelli now opens up for Martinelli, passes the ball towards Trossard, cut out and then eventually cleared by Matvienko. But this morning's leaders in the league phase of the Champions League were Borussia Dortmund, 6 points from their opening 2 games, and they've taken the lead at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. Real Madrid 0, Borussia Dortmund 1. Daniel Malen has got that goal after half an hour. Champions League highlights tomorrow, incidentally, tomorrow night, BBC One, 10:40. But Borussia Dortmund are leading against Madrid. They've only picked up 3 points from their opening 2 games. I noticed that the boffins at Opta had ranked Arsenal and Real Madrid as joint favourites, as a cross is played in from the left, cut out by the legs of the goalkeeper behind Manchester City. As Shakhtar coming forward, and the ball nicked back by Zubkov, but a weak challenge by Enrique, and Gabriel Jesus, who couldn't take advantage of that. The ball just wouldn't run with him. He still manages to pass the ball forward to Trossard, back towards Gabriel Jesus. 13 minutes to go to half-time. Arsenal leading by a goal to 0.
I mean, blimey, lucky to stay on the pitch, Enrique, with such a feeble challenge. He's got to defend stronger than that. Jesus won that ball easily. You can see Arsenal, since the goal, gone up a level, and Martinelli really is fancying it now.
Martinelli far side the left. Plays the ball back to Gabriel. Norwich City have got a goal back at Deepdale. Preston, who are unbeaten in 6 at home, now leading Norwich by 2-1. Norwich, who were just outside the playoffs, 5 games unbeaten. Chris's former club, as Trossard gets the ball from White on this near right-hand side, passes the ball back towards White, forward ball to Partey, right corner of the area. Was there a foul there? The referee says not. Shakhtar now maybe can break. Sudakov forward towards Sikan, on the turn, goes behind to Bondarenko, edge of the centre circle. Bondarenko now passes the ball out wide to Zubkov for Shakhtar. Bondarenko always willing to receive the ball in the midfield.
There's actually a Shakhtar Donetsk counter-attacking there onto Arsenal, and Sikan laid the ball back to Bondarenko, but it went behind him and the momentum was lost.
As Ben White is the player who has been booked by our French referee Benoit Bastien for that challenge.
Yeah, it was a bit of a clothesline that from Ben White on Ronaldo, just grabbing him round the neck as he went past him, and he's still down. Ronaldo.
11 minutes to half-time then on BBC Radio 5 Live, and the BBC Sounds app. Mikel Arteta giving out some verbal instructions. Paris Saint-Germain 0, PSV 1 is the latest score in the Champions League. PSV, who are yet to win, have taken the lead in the French capital. And as the half-time scores are coming in, you'll see them all on 5 Live Final Score Birmingham City at the break are leading Bolton by 1-0. Wrexham still drawing with Huddersfield, and third place Wickham, going so well under Matt Bloomfield, being held away at bottom of the table. Burton. Play yet to resume here. 10 minutes to half-time, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, but Arsenal where they want to be. Started so quickly, came around, got after Shakhtar Donetsk, but then Shakhtar Donetsk sort of felt their way back into the game and looked pretty comfortable. And then just one moment from Martinelli, get a bit of luck with the goal, off the post and off the goalkeeper and in. But they've got control of this game now, Arsenal.
And Borussia Dortmund have control of the game against Real Madrid. A repeat, of course, of last year's final, and Borussia Dortmund now lead 2-0 in Madrid. Who's got control at Villa Park? Lee Blakeman.
It's hard to say, Ian. Chances at both ends. Villa 0, Bologna 0. Martinez is just denied Delinga from 14 yards. And then down the other end for Villa, cross went in. It fell to Tielemans 20 yards out on the volley, blocked on the 6-yard line. Good game, great atmosphere, just needs a goal. Villa 0, Bologna 0.
9 minutes to go to the break here at the Emirates. Arsenal are leading by 1-0. An own goal from Dmitro Riznik, the goalkeeper, after Martinelli's shot had struck the post and come back and hit the unfortunate Ukrainian international keeper. Arsenal with Calafiore just outside the centre circle. Martinelli had made a run through the middle, not spotted by the Italian, as White plays it towards Havertz over the halfway line on this near side. Havertz looking to score in 8 successive home games as they play the ball back. And half-time at Ellen Road in the Championship, Adam Cottier.
Leeds 2, Watford 0 is the score. Leeds at the moment going top of the Championship. Both goals inside the first 7 minutes. First, Ramazani's shot from the edge of the box, spilled into his own net by Daniel Bachmann. And then from Bachmann's push-out, Aronson slotted in the second goal. Watford looking fragile. Leeds 2, Watford 0.
Ball goes back to Riznik, clears it right-footed, out towards Zubkov, controls the ball off his right boot, quickly comes under pressure from Gabriel, and then Conor Playa plays it forward, headed away by Saliba, and his header will reach Martinelli, who carved the ball first time in towards Havertz. Shakhtar broke up that move though for Arsenal. Sekan dropping back, looks for the return ball, takes it on the chest on the halfway line, running out towards that far side, the right. Calafiore though snapping away at their heels, and as a result of that pressure, Arsenal get the ball back.
He doesn't stop Calafiore.
Been an excellent signing from Bologna, in fact, wasn't it? Who he helped them finish 5th in Serie A last season. A fee up to £42 million. He's got that degree of versatility, can play as a left back or indeed as a central defender. As Eguinaldo to Sudakov, ball inside now for Krishkiv. He passes the ball forward, Bondarenko able to turn out towards Zubkov on the right hand side. Conor Playa flying on the overlap as Zubkov enters the penalty area, goes for goal, and his right-footed shot was easily caught in the midriff by David Raya.
I thought that was such a waste. I thought he was trying to cross the ball actually, but little warning to Arsenal there. That attack began with Eguinaldo holding on to the ball well, and ball into Bondarenko, left-footed pass out to that right-hand side. Zubkov expected more of him in this first half. Not really got at Calafiore. Maybe not quite brave enough at this moment in time. Looks like a player who's lacking confidence.
Here is White for Arsenal. Just feels like a routine sort of home game, doesn't it? You know, every time we cross to Lee, you can sense the atmosphere at Villa Park. But everybody here, I think, would have expected Arsenal to come and secure the 3 points quite comfortably. They haven't really had too many scares at the back. They are leading as well with just over 5 minutes to go in this first half, 1-0. Noise actually coming from the Shakhtar supporters as Gabriel Jesus fires over a right-footed cross, cleared. Partey picks it up, out to Martinelli, left corner of the area. Martinelli towards the far post. Jesus looked for the ball towards Havertz and then knocked away as he went bravely down to head it about a yard out of the goal line. Shakhtar got it away.
I think it was Matvienko. Magnificent from Matvienko. Clever ball to the back post. Jesus just volleys the ball down into the ground, and it looks like Havertz is going to just head it into the back of the net. Matvienko from nowhere hooks the ball clear from Havertz's head. Brilliant defending, last-ditch defending. Arsenal nearly had the second they wanted. I've got to say, the left-back, Enrique, he does not want to defend at all. Pulls out of the cross, Jesus gets there. Havertz nearly got his goal, Ian.
Well, Pedro Enrique, he can play as a left-back or as a left midfielder, but as Chris Sutton says, he doesn't look at all comfortable at left-back tonight for the 22-year-old Brazilian. Shakhtar continue to trail by 1-0 and are actually fortunate that they are not further behind, but that was excellent defending from Matvienko, now in his 10th season with the club. The 28-year-old, 72 caps for his country, as here is Sudakov. Hardly seen him as a creative spark for Shakhtar. He's playing extremely deep at the moment. Matvienko will actually have the ball and hold on to it left of the centre circle. Sudakov plays it forward. Bondarenko back then to Matvienko. Bondarenko once again another touch, but they're not really going anywhere, Shakhtar, at the moment. They're playing within a 10-yard area of the field, either side of the halfway line, as they play from right to left as we look here on BBC Radio 5 Live with 4 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, they only really look a threat when they've counter-attacked against Arsenal, when Arsenal allow Shakhtar to have the ball and sit back in the 4-4-2 formation. They haven't looked good enough, smart enough to play through the Arsenal midfield. And then if you do get through the midfield, you've got 4 doormen at the back you've got to get past.
Bondarenko has gone down holding his right ankle. He's back on his feet. Free kick to Shakhtar. Good noise still being created by the Ukrainians that have made their way to the Emirates here tonight, as a lot of the Arsenal supporters now are making their way towards the concourses for their half-time refreshment. A lot of talk on 5 Live Drive about pies as the ball is hit long. A downward header.
I mean, there's a lot of them going early, isn't there?
Yeah, well, you've got to get in the queue, haven't you? They're not all given VIP treatment, unlike you, Chris Sutton.
I mean, Arsenal could score 3 more times here before half-time. Is a pie more important, Ian, than seeing your team score?
I don't know what you're asking me that for. Girona, who've lost both of their games, are leading Slovan Bratislava, who are turning into the whipping boys, it would seem, of this Champions League campaign. They've conceded 9 goals before tonight, so that's the 10th goal that they've now conceded, as Girona lead by 1-0 just before the break. Arsenal 1-0 up, still 0-0 at Villa Park. Martinelli, slight little slip, passes the ball to Calafiore, gives it back to the Brazilian, looks to work over the cross, runs infield, finds Thomas Partey, passes the ball back then to Saliba. Gabriel Jesus runs out towards the right to create a little bit of width, but instead they go back and across towards the left to Arsenal in their red and white shirts with 2 minutes to go to half-time on 5 Live. Saliba's forward ball to Partey. Partey turns away from Sudakov. They keep possession well. Every black shirt has dropped behind the ball. Calafiore now comes in off that left touch line. He's 25 yards out from goal, tries to pass it through. Little bit of a ricochet. They give the ball away cheaply. Comes back to Calafiore into Trossard on the stretch. They lose it once again. Trossard inside the D. Here is Gabriel Jesus, denied by the legs of the goalkeeper. It was very quickly released by Havertz, and now all of a sudden there's a counter-attack, and it's Sudakov running forward. The counter-attack is on here for Shakhtar. Sudakov pulls the ball back. Eguinaldo off balance, screws it wide, right-footed edge of the area, and Shakhtar still trail by 1-0 as Mikel Arteta applauds the way his side dealt with that counter.
But Jesus, he's got to finish that. He is, I mean, that's the criticism of him, isn't it? He is just not clinical enough. It's brilliantly worked. Calafiore, his pass is cut out from Enrique, and then the ball quickly into Havertz, who lays the ball to Jesus on the corner of the 6-yard line, just tries to pass the ball past Riznik into the far corner. Instinctive save with his right boot, and I tell you what, Shakhtar countering there, and Eguinaldo making a mess of his shot, and all those fans who went for a pie, Ian, missed the best bit of action in the first half.
Well, they at least didn't miss a goal. Arsenal were ruthless against Paris Saint-Germain, but tonight you think about that Calafiore chance and then Jesus with the legs of Riznik, they could be 3-0 up. As it is, it's just a slender lead of 1-0.
And as I say, Jesus, that's always been the criticism. It was the criticism of him at Manchester City. Not a natural goal scorer. He's got to gobble that chance up. It's an easy opportunity. Real lack of conviction, lack of confidence with that finish. And Riznik saved it quite easily. Shouldn't have been allowed to save it.
Last goal came at the end of January against Nottingham Forest. Here he is, the captain for tonight, as we are into 1 minute of added on time, with Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. Jesus, right side of the penalty area. Jesus shoots, blocked by Bondar, comes out towards White, heads it forward. Bondarenko should get it away. Zubkov with the turn, now tries to hit it forward. Sudakov getting forward now and getting goal side, but White lets him have the ball as he retreats. Sudakov carries it forward. Eguinaldo on the overlap near side the left. Sudakov all right-footed, tried to pass the ball towards Kryshkiv, and then Gabriel Jesus running back tidies up with his goalkeeper Raya, who puts his right foot through that and clears it long for Arsenal, who still lead by a goal to nil.
And Jesus is brilliant at that, isn't he? His work ethic, tracking back, winning tackles. It's just the part of the game which you're sort of really desperate for him to do, and that's finish off the opportunities. That's his weakness.
The key question is, as we now reach half-time, is not one about pies, but did Lady Kelly find a glass of water? But as far as the game is concerned, what are your thoughts?
Well, Arsenal exactly where they want to be. Ahead at half-time, Martinelli with the effort, and Riznik hitting him in the rear and off the post and going over the line. Arsenal have had control, they've been in control. Shakhtar have only really looked dangerous when they've countered, but this game should be put to bed already. Jesus has missed a couple of big opportunities. He hasn't been clinical enough, so Arsenal still with work to do, but it has been fairly comfortable.
So Arsenal have responded to that defeat at the weekend. They lead by a goal to nil. Kelly, have you recovered?
Deno, I have recovered. Thank you very much. Yes.
There was only me showing
choking
concern. There was only me showing concern.
I was concerned.
Yes,
as well.
no, I heard that. Chris, as far as the game itself is concerned, as you were saying to Deno there, Arsenal very much in control. But obviously, the question when a team is so much in control, they haven't taken their chances, and they're only a goal up thanks to an own goal. Will they regret not taking their chances in the first half, or do you think that their dominance is set to continue in the second?
Yeah, I suspect so. It's just if they're careless. But as I said, Jesus, that's always been something which has been levelled at him. It was at Manchester City that he does so many things so well. He harries, he holds the ball in well, he links up well, but he just can't finish. And look, I think with the nature of the way that Shakhtar have started this Champions League campaign, I think one shot in target in the first two games, they're not going to carry too much of a threat to Arsenal. And when you look at Arsenal's back line and how solid and defensively sound that they are, you'd fancy Arsenal to see it through. But they want to make tonight as easy as possible, get that second and third goal, and then look ahead to the game at the weekend against Liverpool. But they'll go in at half-time knowing the fact they haven't been clinical enough that they still have work to do in the second half.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? That they want to get this done early. You said this before the game, because they want to be able to kind of start preparing for that game at the weekend. And from Shakhtar, have you? I mean, I'm trying to think of chances that they had in that first half. Maybe they had the counter-attack towards the end of the first half. Yeah. Maybe another opportunity earlier on. There's not too much from them going forward, is there?
Well, they don't look good enough to play through Arsenal when Arsenal drop and they're in the 4-4-2 formation. They don't look clever enough and good enough to do that. But where they have looked a bit of a threat is when Arsenal have thrown the full-backs forward, and Eguinaldo's had a couple of opportunities. One towards the end of the half, actually, when Jesus had that effort, he should have scored, and all of a sudden they broke down the other end. And that's the danger. But Arsenal get another goal. I can't see Shakhtar scoring two. I can't see them scoring one, but it's just getting that other goal and having that bit of breathing space and that bit of comfort where they can maybe relax a little bit. But they're in they're where they want to be at half time. It's been a really good response from the weekend defeat at Bournemouth. They've reacted in the right way. Arsenal have. They just want another goal or two. and quickly.
Yeah, they started fast and they've been on top for this first half against Shakhtar Donetsk. They only lead by 1-0 though, and as Chris was saying, they'll want to add to that, get this game done and dusted, and then look ahead to the game against Liverpool in the Premier League at the weekend. Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis will be back with you for the second half of that game at the Emirates. Meanwhile, at Villa Park, Aston Villa have been facing Serie A side Bologna. It's half-time, Lee Blakeman.
Kelly, I've absolutely loved this. Brilliant half, great night. All it's lacked is a goal. Aston Villa 0, Bologna 0. Good chances for both teams, though. John Duran had a header saved off a Tielemans corner early on for Villa. McGinn also tested Bologna keeper Skorupski with a shot from the edge of the area, while Morgan Rogers went close twice right at the end of the half. Martinez has been busy down the other end as well. Sharp save away to his left, low down to deny Delinga, and he also made a good save at his near post to keep out a shot from Orsolini as well. It has been a great occasion so far. The second Champions League game back at Villa Park. We just need a goal to give this packed crowd something to cheer about in the second half, because at half time it's Aston Villa 0, Bologna 0.
Yeah, it's a great ground when it's rocking, Villa Park. Lee Blakeman, thanks very much. We'll be back with you should there be that breakthrough goal in the second half, but we'll get regular updates regardless. John Bennett's been watching the rest of the Champions League action this evening. John, there's a few unexpected scorelines at half-time.
Yeah, a couple of big surprises. An Englishman, Kelly, has scored at the Bernabeu, but it's not Jude Bellingham, and Real Madrid are in real trouble at half-time. Real Madrid 0, Borussia Dortmund 2. So Donyell Malen opened the scoring. A lovely through ball by Guirassy. Then a few minutes later, England under-21 winger Jamie Gittins tapped in at the back post. His third goal this season in the Champions League. And remember, Real Madrid lost their last Champions League game to Lille. Jude Bellingham, 2 great chances, hit the bar, but it's not been his night. Elsewhere, Paris Saint-Germain 0, PSV Eindhoven 1. That's the other surprise. Noah Lang with the goal against the run of play. Juventus drawing 0-0 against Stuttgart. Juventus looking to maintain their 100% record. Sturm Graz 0, Sporting 1. And Girona, who had 2 defeats in a row going into their game tonight, are beating Slovan Bratislava by 1-0.
Thank you very much for that, John Bennett, across everything not involving the British teams this evening, and plenty of storylines developing in the Champions League this evening. Also busy night in the EFL. We'll keep you across everything that's happening in the Championship, Leagues 1 and League 2. And we'll look ahead to tomorrow's Champions League action after the BBC News with Fraser Dainton.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Thanks, Kelly. Good evening. It's been revealed that a man shot dead by police 2 years ago was a core member of one of London's most dangerous criminal gangs. Earlier, a judge lifted reporting restrictions which had prevented a jury from hearing about Chris Cabba's criminal background. He was alleged to have shot a man at a nightclub 6 days before he died. The officer who killed him was acquitted yesterday of his murder. Hope Chilakoa Mullen, who works with deprived communities in London, believes the narrative surrounding Chris Cabba's background is worrying.
There were many things being presented to make us feel like Chris was not the victim, but he was. Chris was the person who was killed, and the case is not about Chris's character. The judge himself in the case didn't let this information be admitted because the judge ruled that this was not relevant to the case. I think it's important for us to remember that what we're talking about is the fact that an unarmed man was shot dead in the head by the police.
Police in the United States have charged the former boss of the fashion chain Abercrombie & Fitch with sex trafficking. Prosecutors in New York accused Mike Jeffries and his British partner Matthew Smith of the sexual exploitation and abuse of men at events they hosted. Lawyers for both men had previously denied any wrongdoing. Our correspondent Will Vernon has more details.
15 alleged victims have been identified, but the authorities said they believe that more are out there. And they said that these were powerful individuals who abused their wealth, their influence, their power to traffic young people. And one of the US officials said that they used a dream, a future of modelling, the possibility of working in fashion in order to attract these men.
Downing Street has said the Prime Minister shares the public's anger at scenes of criminals celebrating their early release from prisons in England and Wales. Number 10 said around 1,100 inmates were set free because of overcrowding in jails. It's the second emergency release in 2 months. And Meta, the owner of Instagram and Facebook, is to introduce facial recognition technology in an effort to crack down on scammers who fraudulently use celebrities in adverts. The scams typically promote investment schemes and cryptocurrency.
The Football Daily Podcast.
We are here to speak to Arsenal's brand new Italian stallion, Riccardo Calafiori.
I thought it was exactly the right step for me. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world. You don't go just there because it's Arsenal. It's also Miguel. The way we play was the perfect decision, I think.
How are you enjoying the UK?
Yeah, the weather is amazing.
Yeah.
The main reason why I came here.
100%.
When he played the ball to me, I just say, okay, now I want to shoot in the top bin.
Yeah, the top bins.
Top bin.
The Football Daily Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Tonight on 5 Live Sport, your Champions League commentary comes from the Emirates, where Arsenal currently lead Shakhtar Donetsk by 1-0 at half-time. At Villa Park, it's 0-0 between Aston Villa and Bologna. Regular updates from there, and we'll keep you across everything that's happening in the EFL as well. There's been a goal at Elland Road. Leeds were 2-0 up against Watford. Which way's this one gone? Adam Cottier.
Yeah, not anymore. Watford invigorated at the start of the second half. Kwadu Bar with the goal for Watford, spinning down the right of the penalty area, tried to cross it, Rodon cleared it, but only back to Bar, who followed in to score for Watford, who were toothless in the first half and 2-0 down. It's now Leeds 2, Watford 1.
Adam, thank you very much for that. Adam will bring us regular updates from Elland Road. You can follow everything that's happening in the Championship, Leagues 1 and Leagues 2 on the BBC Sport website and app. Wednesday night's Champions League commentary on 5 Live is RB Leipzig against Liverpool, and Dominic Szoboszlai faces his former club.
I came here as a young talent and left as a grown man, and now playing in the Premier League, learned a lot of stuff. Playing under Jürgen or Arne gave me so much stuff what I didn't know before. That shows that you can always learn something from different coaches, and also the players I'm playing with can only say positive stuff, and you learn every day something, and that's what I'm looking for. I can play even better. I can score more goals. I can give more assists. But I'm doing the dirty job as well for the team.
How did you feel when you found out you were going to have to do the dirty job?
Well, last year I was doing the same, so it's not new. But of course, I'm gonna do it all the time for my team until we succeed. And it doesn't matter for me if I don't score until we are top of the table. That's the most important.
That was Dominic Szoboszlai of Liverpool talking to our football correspondent John Murray, who joins us now from Leipzig. John, we'll pick up on his comments in just a second, but just on a wider sense, it's the first of 2 huge away games this week for Liverpool, including the one at the Emirates at the weekend.
Yeah, quite right. But as Liverpool known, as was mentioned before the weekend when they obviously played Chelsea at Anfield, not only is it this week, they just keep coming and coming after this for Liverpool. So they've got a couple of games against Brighton. The next match after this in the Champions League is at home to Bayer Leverkusen. So Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. They've got Aston Villa after that, Real Madrid, Manchester City are just round the corner. So, you know, it's come to the crunch for them. And he was saying today on a slot when he spoke to us in the stadium here, he was saying that you can't ask for much more so far than the results that Liverpool have got. And as we know, it's 10 wins out of 11 in all competitions they've had. But he was talking about wanting more and being more dominant in matches against the better teams. So there was a clear message there from the manager.
I wonder if there was a clear message there from Szoboszlai as well when he talked about doing the dirty work, because having started exceptionally well at Liverpool and had a lot of praise for that, there has been some criticism in his performances from this season in terms of his attacking abilities, maybe his passing.
Yes, I think that it's become a thing, hasn't it? I detected it when I was at Anfield on Sunday. And the aftermath of that as well, the feeling that they're not seeing the absolute best of him. And he's only scored 1 goal so far this season, which was in the first Champions League match when they won in Milan. But I thought it was interesting. It was kind of unsaid when he spoke to us in the conference room at the stadium tonight, the fact that his performances have been criticised, but I thought it was quite significant that what you heard there, him referring to his doing the dirty job, he brought up himself in his very first answer and made reference to the fact that he can play higher and that, you know, he likes to be in a position where he can score more goals. He said that he's trying to work on doing the dirty job, but also being in a position where he can score more goals and contribute at that end of the field. So I think the general feeling was that he knows he can do better.
He's left Leipzig, obviously, to join Liverpool. They still have so much exciting talent in there. But even despite all this talk about attackers, this is the best defence in the Premier League against the best defence in the Bundesliga. So it might not be that this is all about the attackers. This might just be about one moment in this game.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the fact that Leipzig have lost both of their matches so far in the Champions League. I mean, they have played Atletico Madrid and Juventus, and now it's Liverpool, the Premier League leaders. Don't be fooled by the fact that if you look, as I'm doing now, at the current league table in the Champions League, I see that Leipzig in the live table are 31st. You know, what you have to pay attention to, as you say, Kelly, the quality that they've got, and they do have injuries, like Liverpool. Diogo Jota has been added to that list, so he's not here. Conor Bradley as well, Chiesa, Elliott, Alisson. But they have got a terrific record in the Bundesliga, not lost in the league since February, and with the win that they had at the weekend against Mainz, they are second in the table. And I think that means that they're almost more dangerous because having lost their first two matches, they know that points are a real urgency for them in the Champions League.
John, for now, thank you very much. But of course, we'll hear lots more from John Murray in the build-up to that game, which you'll be able to hear on 5 Live Sport tomorrow night. Tonight in the Champions League, it's all about Aston Villa against Bologna at Villa Park. We'll have regular updates from that one, which is 0-0 at the moment. Arsenal are 1-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk at the Emirates. And that's where we head now for second half commentary with Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis.
Perfect timing as ever. Thank you, Kelly. We're just underway. Arsenal leading by 1-0. Neither side has made a change at half-time. Arsenal in this second half in their red and white shirts and white shorts as we sit low down in the main stand here at the Emirates, right at the halfway line, playing from right to left with Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiore. A midfield of Partey and Rice with Havertz, Trossard, Jesus and Martinelli. Jesus more to the right, Martinelli to the left. And for Shakhtar, Rijnik is in goal. Konaplé, Bonda, Matvienko and Henrique is the defence. Zubkov, Bondarenko, Krishkiv, Eguinaldo and Sudakov behind Danilo Sikan as the lone striker. Shakhtar all in black with a bright orange trim. It's a busy night in the Football League. 5 Live final score is available on the iPlayer and also the red button. Just the flurry of goals that have gone in. We've got Salford 1, Swindon 1, Leeds 2, Watford 1, Stoke City 2, Bristol City 2, 2 quick goals from Naki Wells, Burton 1, Wickham 2, Harrogate Town 0, Port Vale 1, so the League 2 leaders are ahead in North Yorkshire. Oxford 1, Derby 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Shrewsbury 0, Wigan 1, Mansfield 1 as Arsenal are attacking, and Martinelli with the cross, and then the header from Trossard goes wide. A lot of fizz on that cross from Martinelli, 8 yards out. Leaping was Trossard off target. Walsall 3, Carlisle 0, Tranmere 0, Grimsby 1, MK Dons 2, Accrington 0. Exeter have got a goal back. They now trail at home to Reading by 2-1. You're up to date here on 5 Live, Chris Sutton.
Yep, and brilliant from Calafiore to set up that chance initially. Dropped his shoulder in the middle of the field, popped the ball out left to Martinelli. Likes to come inside on his right foot, and he did do. Fizzed a cross in, and Trossard were 8 yards out. Didn't get the correct connection with his head. Too light a glance, and it went past the far post. Big opportunity, not taken.
Not taken. They didn't take other chances in the first half as well. Mikel Arteta will want his side to put this game to bed as quickly as possible, as Norwich City have now equalised at Preston North End. Preston North End 2, Norwich City 2 is the latest score in the Championship. Here is Rice for Arsenal. Gabriel forward of the centre circle. Out to the left-hand side to Martinelli. Still, the supporters file past us here in our low position. Martinelli thought about the shot, hesitated, goes square. Rice feeds it out towards that right-hand side. Ball played forward to Gabriel Jesus, and then Havertz just getting stuck underneath his feet. Gabriel Jesus to Rice, triangular passing patterns from Arsenal. Thomas Partey is the player who is wide on that far side. Burton Albion, who 2-0 down to Wickham, have now got it back to 2-2, bottom of the table. Burton against third-placed Wickham in League One. Arsenal seeing a lot of the ball as Rice, with a curling ball along the ground, finds Thomas Partey far side the right. Shakhtar have got everybody back. Mikel Arteta with his black coat on, matching that jet black hair of his, looking a little frustrated at the time being, as now it's on that far side. Partey, little touch there for Rice, midway through the Shakhtar half. Calafiore is once again in a central position. Here is the Italian defender, inverted, always provides an option. It's patient play by Arsenal without really stretching that back line as such, as Gabriel Jesus now comes onto the ball. Gabriel Jesus with the cross, and it flags up on the far side. It's a conveyor belt of supporters.
It is, they love a pie at Arsenal, don't they? I mean, in early at half-time, out late. We're nearly 5 minutes into the second half and he's still wandering out.
Goal kick is taken short. You wouldn't think that there's many more seats left for these supporters to find a place to sit. Juventus 0, Stuttgart 1 is the latest score elsewhere in the Champions League. Stuttgart, who are yet to win. Juventus, who'd won their opening 2 games but are behind there in Turin. Juventus 0, Stuttgart 1. Aston Villa 0, Bologna 0 at Villa Park is the latest score. Keeping you in touch with that one, as Shakhtar coming forward. And whilst it remains 1-0, they've still got a fighter's chance here of Shakhtar.
Absolutely, and that's the worry. Mikel Arteta. Don't get that second one, anything can happen, but the way that Arsenal have defended so far, you can't really see Shakhtar Donetsk carving them open.
Arsenal stop that Shakhtar attack, and Sudakov wins it back. Good feet by Sudakov, running at the edge of the area. There's an air of excitement from the supporters. Zubkov, though, tried to thread the ball through from inside the penalty area, and it was too heavy from his left-footed ball.
Well, he's had a stinker all evening, hasn't he, Zubkov? And just when I was saying you can't see Shakhtar Donetsk really carving Arsenal open, lovely play, lovely ball fizzed into Zubkov in a central area, 18 yards out, but so heavy with the pass through to Sekan.
I know you didn't go to the press lounge and you weren't too bothered about the pies because you'd stuff yourself with so many chocolate cakes before the game, but you missed out on a steak and ale and sweet potato, spinach and coconut milk.
I've never heard of that pie before.
Oh, something maybe to rival the Killy pie.
I don't think there is any rival to that, Ian.
I would agree with you on that. Here is Gabriel. Arsenal still leading by a goal to 0. Saliba out towards Havertz over the halfway line. Arsenal running forward. Jesus passes the ball towards right. There is certainly, they're very comfortable on the ball, but there isn't the same level of urgency that Arsenal had at the start of the first half to the opening exchanges here in the second half. Incidentally, that Stuttgart goal has been disallowed, so it remains Juventus 0, Stuttgart 0. As Enrique plays the ball back over on that far side, and we can check in at Villa Park with Lee Blakeman.
Villa 0, Bologna 0, 4 minutes gone in the second half. Villa with an early chance in this second half because Bailey's just shot straight across the face of goal and wide of the bottom corner from 8 yards out, and then for Bologna, Posh, edge of the area, just shot wide of the bottom corner as well. Villa bringing on Barkley for Onana at the break. Villa 0, Bologna 0.
Wigan 1, Mansfield 2 is a latest score in League One. Latest in the Championship at Ellen Road comes from Adam Cottier.
We're in the 62nd minute here. It's Leeds 2, Watford 1. You can sense the anxiety amongst the Leeds supporters. It's 2-1 here, with Leeds just having hit the post.
Well, we were both getting excited because Dimitro Riznik got himself in a terrible tangle. He got away with it. It was closed down. He retreated back into his penalty area. The keeper's own goal is the difference between the two sides. 7.5 minutes into the second half. but the ball at his feet there was a rather awkward moment.
Do you know what? He did brilliantly in the end. Martinelli put the burners on, closed him down, and for a second you're thinking he's going to pinch it off Riznik. Sharp little turn and just clipped the ball out to safety.
Jesus to Havertz with a cross, right hand side, falls to Martinelli, hits it first time right footed, beaten away by the goalkeeper, behind for a corner. Martinelli rips up the crowd as Chesterfield have equalised at home to Colchester 1-1, and AFC Wimbledon lead Morecambe 2-0 in League 2.
Yeah, Havertz does brilliantly, drifts everywhere. Kai Havertz does. Little 1-2 on the right hand side, feeds the ball all the way across. Martinelli telegraphs that. Riznik gets down to his right hand side. I think he should try and go back across into the far corner. He doesn't. Tries to beat the keeper at his near post, and it's a comfortable save.
Just feels as if it's a matter of time before the second goal comes for Arsenal. They've created 2 chances already in these opening 8.5 minutes in the second half, but they're still only leading 1-0 on 5 Live. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app. As Arsenal wait to take the corner kick on this near side, the left. Declan Rice to take it, in swing, and the keeper spilt it and then gathers it in at the second attempt. And then he'll hold on to the ball as Sporting have got a second goal, and the prolific Victor Gyökeres, the former Brighton and Coventry City striker, has got that second goal. Arsenal do travel to Sporting a little later on in the Champions League campaign. Yeah. Sporting 2-0 now against Sturm Graz.
And you know, you look at Arsenal's remaining fixtures, I mean, they haven't got it too easy, have they? Which is why they've got to make sure they get the 3 points this evening.
Here is Martinelli. Trossard opens up for Trossard. Trossard right-footed with a fiercely struck effort, right-footed off target, wide of the left-hand post, out for a goal kick. MK Dons 2, Accrington Stanley 1. Leyton Orient have taken the lead at home to Rotherham. They lead by 1-0 in League 1. Well, they've got Liverpool at home on Sunday, commentary on 5 Live for that 4:30 kick-off. They're away then to Preston in the League Cup the following Wednesday, and that is the first of 5 successive away games. Preston, Newcastle, Inter at San Siro in the Champions League, Chelsea, and then that trip to Lisbon to face Sporting Lisbon.
If you had to rank them in terms of difficulty, those 5 games, it would be the hardest game for Arsenal.
Inter at San Siro. So you're right about the need for the 3 points here. I mean, the home games will be key. Mentioned earlier about the Champions League highlights tomorrow on BBC One at 10:40. I remember watching it after match day 2, and they had a graphic that said 16 points would be enough for a top 8 finish, or at least that was the estimate. So Arsenal, who've picked up 4 from their opening 2 games, 0-0 draw away to Atalanta, a good win against Paris Saint-Germain, leading here 1-0, but Shakhtar with Sudakov on the ball, 11 minutes into the second half, and the ball from Bondar out towards that far side. Enrique, the left back, with his dyed hair, is forward, can't deliver the cross. Gabriel Jesus has gone back with him in front of that 3,000 away allocation that has been completely sold out by Ukrainians, as Matvienko is forward. Infield finds Bondarenko. This is Krishkiv able to turn. Sikan, poor effort that opened up. It was a poor touch that just allowed,
wasn't it,
Eguinaldo to get the shot closed down, caught by Raya.
Do you know what? Eguinaldo's got to pop that out right to Zubkov. It would have been 1-on-1, 8 yards out. He elects to take the shot, his eyes lit up. I think it was Gabriel who got the block on the shot. It loops up to David Raya, but that's all it takes, isn't it? A bit of carelessness from Arsenal, and Shakhtar will be back in it. And talk about carelessness there, Calafiori. He's had a brilliant game at switching the ball well over Ben White's head, and gives Shakhtar the ball back halfway in the Arsenal half. Arsenal getting sloppy.
They can't afford to concede. It's only a slender lead, but the deadlock's been broken at Villa Park. Lee Blakeman.
Broken by Aston Villa 10 minutes into the second half. Aston Villa 1, Bologna 0. Free kick on the right, level with the edge of the area, taken by McGinn. He was looking for a touch, it didn't get one, it went all the way in, and Villa are on their way to 3 out of 3 in the Champions League. Villa 1, Bologna 0.
Which means that the only remaining goalless game in tonight's matches in the Champions League after that Stuttgart goal was disallowed is Juventus 0, Stuttgart 0. And Aston Villa, who, they'd go level with Dortmund at the top of the table on 9 points and really would be well set for the knockout stages after a really strong start back in Europe's elite competition. Paris Saint-Germain have equalised, incidentally, at home to PSV. PSG 1, PSV 1, Peterborough United 4, Blackpool 1, and Wimbledon lead Morecambe now by 3-0. Salford 2, Swindon 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. As Zubkov picks up the ball for Shakhtar on this right-hand side, goes away from Martinelli, low ball, little dummy there from Conor Player, the right back inside the penalty area. Bondarenko keeps it alive, but passes the ball back. Here is Bondar. They had every outfield player. They're being urged on by the Ukrainian crowd, and they're looking to make changes as well, so there is activity on the bench down below for Shakhtar Donetsk as Marino Pusic, their 53-year-old coach, former assistant to Arne Slot, and now all of a sudden the Arsenal crowd response, and I think that's a sign that they know that this game is far from secure. Zubkov along the ground, Eguinaldo looks towards Sikan, cleared away by Saliba. Only as far as Rice, keeps his balance, holds off the challenge. Forward ball up towards the feet of Havertz, lays it off. Jesus coming through. Trossard is the only player ahead of him. Out wide on this near side, the left, is Martinelli joining the attack. Crawley 2, Lincoln City 0 is the latest score in League One. Martinelli goes on the outside. Down towards the byline, slows it down. Martinelli's right-footed cross is a deep one. Partey was up there as well, cleared away. Sikan's header back to Bondarenko. Bondarenko plays it out wide, and Eguinaldo's on the charge now, and all of a sudden Arsenal have got 3 back to deal with the 2 black shirts coming forward. There's another one now with Enrique, the left back, getting forward. Eguinaldo holds on to it, waits for some more support from the Shakhtar players. As a result, Arsenal now are defending in numbers as they still lead 1-0.
Yeah, didn't really go for the jugular there, Eguinaldo, but you can see Shakhtar Donetsk fancying this a little bit more, and Arsenal retreating.
Kevin is going to be coming on, one of the 7 Brazilians in the squad. They used to have a Fred, now they've got a Kevin.
Kevin who?
That's his name. And the other change that is going to be coming on as well is Pedrinho. So 2 more Brazilians are going to be entering the fray. And they are both attacking players as Shakhtar work over the cross, cleared up in the air by Thomas Partey. Arsenal still lead by 1-0. Peterborough United 5, Blackpool 1, Crawley 2, Lincoln City 0. I think I gave you that one just a short while ago, but just ensuring that we're up to date here on 5 Live. Ball through the middle, Sikan, flag stayed down.
I thought it was a good Arsenal line, but let the play go. Sikan, really clumsy touch from him. It would have been him one-on-one with David Raya.
You can say the alarm bells are ringing, but it's nevertheless been a good spell for Shakhtar. And I'm sure that Marino Pusic, their coach, will be encouraged. But Arsenal still lead 1-0. As it slows down with Partey right at the centre circle. We heard from John Murray at half-time. Tomorrow night we will be live in Leipzig for that game against Liverpool. Atalanta Celtic will be on Sports Extra from 5:45. And Thursday night, the atmosphere we want to savour in Istanbul. Fenerbahce against Manchester United in the Europa League. As Arsenal here at the Emirates. Aston Villa are leading against Bologna. Gabriel passes the ball to Thomas Partey, drops in between the 2 central defenders. Saliba's gone out wide on that right-hand side. As they lose the ball, and now all of a sudden, because the left-back Calafiore had gone into an inverted role, it gives Zubkov an area to run into on this right-hand side. Martinelli's actually filled in for the time being. Zubkov down towards the byline, wins a corner for last touch came off Zubkov. He thought it was a corner. In fact, despite the assistant referee, it is a corner.
But that is sensational from Martinelli. Carried a threat for Arsenal going forward, but he steams back, 50, 60 yards to get back and put Zubkov under pressure. Allows Gabriel to get back in the position he wants to be in. And he blocks the cross, but a chance for Shakhtar Donetsk from the corner kick.
The assistant referee was overruled, and quite rightly, by the referee Benoit Bastien, as in comes the cross, headed out by Havertz inside that crowded penalty area. Real Madrid have got a goal back in the Champions League. Real Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund 2. Antonio Rudiger on the hour mark with that goal for Real Madrid, as we wait to see who these changes are going to be. Pedrinho, who 26-year-old Brazilian, he joined from Benfica for 20 million euros, and that was in 2021, and then had a 2-year loan back in Brazil for Atlético Mineiro. He only actually returned in June, and he's going to come on. Sikan is one of the players who's going to be coming off, so Sikan, I'm just looking to see who the other player was coming off as Zubkov. Zubkov is the player who goes off. So Pedrinho comes on for Zubkov, and Kevin is on for Danilo Sikan. And it is Eguinaldo who has now gone through the middle, it would seem, for Shakhtar, who are looking to try and spoil Arsenal's night.
Yeah, the man in the mask, Sikan, didn't offer any surprises to the Arsenal centre-backs.
Kevin is the player who's gone wide at the moment on that far side, the left, as Eguinaldo throws himself into an aerial challenge. The ball is hit back to David Raya. Kevin races towards him. David Raya has got time to settle himself and clears it away downfield. Gabriel Jesus running back, chests the ball back powerfully towards Partey. Partey towards Trossard. That was a heavy first touch, but they still keep hold of the ball. That we've been playing now for 64 minutes. And Arsenal have made a change as well, haven't they? Because Mikel Moreno has come onto the field of play. That slipped our attention as we were paying so much detail to that double change for Shakhtar Donetsk. So Mikel Moreno, who's come on for his 4th appearance, is on. And we'll try and work out by a matter of elimination who the player has gone off. It's Ben White who's has gone off. So Thomas Partey is now playing as a right back. Here is David Raya. We'll hope that that's not another injury, bearing in mind Saliba is suspended for Liverpool's visit at the weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, we were discussing at half-time, weren't we, about who would come into that centre-back position.
Arsenal have given the ball away, and this is Shakhtar looking towards the substitute. Pedrinho flags up on the near side. There was a foul there from Shakhtar Donetsk. Calafiore's gone down as well. Could be mounting defensive problems here for Mikel Arteta.
And looking over to the bench and pointing to his knee. This is really worrying period for Arsenal. Calafiori tries to step in, he gets caught, but when he gets caught he slips over, and I wonder whether he falls awkwardly and he stays down. And Shakhtar Donetsk, it's Eguinaldo who goes shoulder to shoulder with him. Yeah, he falls really awkwardly and he twists his right knee there. I'm not a medical expert, but that doesn't look good, Ian.
Well, whilst Calafiore gets treatment, we'll cross to Villa Park, where there's been a second goal.
A second goal for Aston Villa. Villa 2, Bologna 0. Great build-up play by Morgan Rogers, left side of the area. His ball towards the near post, picked out Duran. Nice flick, across goal, bottom corner. Villa flying. Aston Villa 2, Bologna 0.
Wycombe Wanderers aren't doing too bad as well. I know they played Aston Villa in the League Cup. They're back in front at Burton. Burton Albion 2, Wycombe 3. Aston Villa 2, Bologna 0, then a latest score in the Champions League. You're right, though. I mean, it was Eguinaldo who made the challenge. I don't think it was from that. I don't think it's a dead leg. His legs just parted and he slipped.
Yeah.
He's coming off.
His right knee is just put off balance, and he slips, and then it's awkward the way that he goes down. Just looks like he tweaks his right knee, and yeah, Raheem Sterling looks like he's coming on.
Well, Calafiore is
Arsenal substitution, number 9, Gabriel Jesus.
He's going to play on. It looked like he was going to be coming off. But Sterling, and it's Gabriel Jesus is the player coming off. Gabriel Jesus now has gone 23 games without a goal. Raheem Sterling to replace him. And after all that concern for Calafiore, looked like he was going to be replaced as well. He's made a bit of a recovery, and he's going to come back onto the field of play. Walsall 3, Carlisle 1, meanwhile, is the latest score in League 2. Mikel Moreno's getting some instructions now from Mikel Arteta. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. We're midway through the second half. Calafiore back on the field, and Arsenal are back up to their full quota, but still have work to do to secure the 3 points here. Aston Villa, though, are well on course, leading 2-0.
Yeah, John Durand with another goal. What a player he is, I tell you. And he's not half caught my eye this season. The goal against Bayern Munich, I was there. I mean, what a noise inside Villa Park.
I was going to say, listen, the noise crackling through the radio that particular night. 1-0 here. Bondarenko passes the ball back to the goalkeeper, Dmitro Riznik. Krishkiv had to get rid of that quickly because Martinelli was pressing him inside his own penalty area. Hurried clearance. Sterling now turns away, edge of the area. Sterling, edge of the box, looking to thread a ball through to Havertz. Won back though by Enrique on that far side. Enrique being penned back in towards the corner flag by Raheem Sterling, and then cleared away by Matvienko for Shakhtar Donetsk.
Calafiore's gone down again. This is a real concern for Arsenal. All the talk about the big game at the weekend. White has come off. We don't know whether there's an injury there. But
I mean, he had been booked, hadn't he, in the first half? But still.
So you get that, but Calafiore, we thought he was okay, decided to play on, but I tell you, the way that he actually fell is nudged by Aguinaldo, and the way that he goes down, it looks like he's opened his right knee up a little bit, and he's coming off, and this is a major blow. He's been brilliant this evening, hasn't he, Calafiore?
According to our producer Rob Schofield, he said that Mikel Arteta told Calafiore to go down, probably not wanting to aggravate the injury because he's come straight off and he's gone straight down the tunnel.
Well, from Arsenal's perspective, they need him fit for the weekend. What a brilliant evening up until the injury, playing in that inverted midfield role, doing a job defensively from left back. Such great awareness, gives them much going forward.
Well, for the time being, Moreno is the player who's filling in at left back. Miles Lewis-Skelly, the young midfielder, will be coming on as Calafiore's substitute. And that's how urgent they wanted Calafiore off the field of play. They weren't even waiting for the substitute to be ready. So Arsenal at the minute temporarily down to 10. As with 19 minutes remaining, Shakhtar still trailing by a goal to nil. Stockport County have got a goal at Northampton against Northampton, 1-0 at Edgeley Park. It's a late penalty from Louis Barry as Shakhtar with Bondarenko. Krishkiv able to turn, looks for his options. Konoplaya was available as on the right hand side. Aguinaldo looking to turn. Moreno goes down under a challenge from Aguinaldo, and he stays down as Moreno, and it's a free kick to Arsenal.
Yeah, the ball was fed into Aguinaldo, 25 yards out, back to goal. He's actually looked lively, he has done. Gets his body in and pops the ball past Moreno. Moreno gets his body in. Aguinaldo brings him down. Arsenal free kick.
The fourth official just had a word with Lewis-Skelly to remove his looped earrings before coming on. That was the delay. As we'll go to Ellen Road and Adam Cottier.
Where we're in the final 9 minutes and Leeds labouring to finish the game off here. They lead Watford 2-1. They've hit the post through Jayden Bogle's cross comes shot, and then Matteo Joseph has just gone close for Leeds with a close range header that's saved. It remains Leeds 2, Watford 1. Aston
Villa still lead Bologna 2-0 in the Champions League. Once all the scores have come in, we'll rattle through them, because this, remember, is an 8 o'clock kickoff, so we've still got 18 minutes remaining here on the Champions League. Talks about the action from Germany and Turkey to come on Wednesday and Thursday night, as Lewis Skelly passes the ball back to Gabriel. Friday night we're at Wembley, England against Germany, that women's friendly international. And Saturday, Villa, Bournemouth, Everton, Fulham are our 2 games on Saturday and 4 games on Sunday, including Arsenal, Liverpool here at 4:30. As Arsenal attacking, and they get a throw over on that far side that Sterling will toss back, and now Rice has it. Crewe have got a late goal at Fleetwood. Fleetwood 0, Crewe 1 in League 2. As Martinelli picks it up on this left-hand side, level with the penalty area. Here now is Lewis Skelly, helped out by Rice, passes the ball firmly to the feet of Martinelli. They've doubled up on Martinelli. Still, that Riznik own goal is the only goal that we've seen here tonight. As Mikel Arteta watches on studiously. Moreno, and then the ball with Saliba. Now waiting is Partey, passes the ball to Gabriel, as Girona have got a second goal against Slovan Bratislava in the Champions League. Moreno sends over a cross from the left. Trossard tries to meet it, and that should go behind for a corner kick to Arsenal. Indeed it does.
Yeah, I've got to say that Shakhtar Donetsk central defensive pairing, Bondar and Matvienko, defended crosses very well. Trossard making a run across the near post, and the ball was whipped in from the left-hand side from Moreno. Bondar matching him all the way, but Arsenal have an opportunity from the corner.
16 minutes remaining of normal time. Arsenal 1, Shakhtar 0. Arsenal unable to take the chances that they've created, making this hard work of this game against Shakhtar, who got every black shirt back in and around the penalty area. Birmingham City 2, Bolton 0. So the League One leaders have a second goal late on at St Andrews. There's a number of players who've gathered at the far post. Nicholas Jover, the set-piece coach, now watching on with Mikel Arteta. The referee, meanwhile, has just called 2 players towards him. Gabriel is one of them.
There's not one Arsenal.
He's looking for the VAR, I think, here. There's a penalty check. He spotted something here. He's been alerted to it by the VAR.
Yeah, it's just praising Bondar. It's the right arm of Bondar which is out. I thought it hit his thigh initially, but just seeing on the monitor there, it hits his right arm. His arm is positioned away from his body. The fact he's been asked to go to the monitor. We'll probably see Arsenal awarded a penalty here.
Well, the fact that
his arm is out away from his body, his hand, this will be a penalty.
Benoit Milo, the VAR, has instructed his fellow Frenchman Benoit Bastien, and after a VAR check, Arsenal have been awarded a penalty with 15 minutes remaining. Bondar is the player who has been penalised, and this should be an opportunity for Arsenal to put the game to bed.
Yeah, it's a wicked ball in from Moreno. Trossard trying to attack that near post space. I mean, you could say it's harsh, but it's the position of the arm.
A wag of the finger from the coach of Shakhtar Donetsk, Marino Pusic. Declan Rice did have the ball in his hand. He's now handed it to Leandro Trossard, who has a short run up away towards our left-hand side. He's up against Dmitro Riznik. Leandro Trossard waits for the referee's whistle. He has a little glance towards the match official. He composes himself, and Leandro Trossard now runs up right-footed, but saved by the legs of Riznik. And Riznik's own goal, that is still the difference between the two sides, has redeemed himself with that penalty save, and Arsenal still only lead by 1-0.
Blimey, they're making heavy weather of this, aren't they, Arsenal? Stuttery run-up from Trossard. Riznik goes to his left-hand side. Trossard tries to go down the middle, and Riznik saves with his right boot, just leaves his foot there, lingering there. Real lack of conviction, and Shakhtar Donetsk have something to cling on to. They're still in this, they shouldn't be. I think Arsenal players were asking, did the goalkeeper stay on his line? He did do. It's a huge save from Riznik.
Well, Arsenal know all about a penalty save when David Raya, with that breathtaking double save in Bergamo, got them a precious point on match day 1. Riznik with the legs, squandered a spot kick on this occasion, and Arsenal's lead is still only by a goal to nil as Northampton have equalised at Edgeley Park. Stockport County 1, Northampton 1 is the latest score in League 1, and Arsenal still have work to do with these 12 minutes remaining. Here is Kevin dropping back inside his own half, passes the ball forward. Pedrinho almost lost the ball, manages to squirm it back towards Kevin, and now over on that far side it's Enrique, smattering of Brazilians in this Shakhtar side, who will be encouraged by the efforts of their keeper.
Absolutely. Mikel Arteta will be tearing his hair out. How many chances do Arsenal need to get that bit of daylight and to make this game comfortable? No, they've got defending to do.
Kolopiaya is forward. The flame-haired right back. Krishkip passes the ball out to Enrique. Villa still lead 2-0 in the Champions League at Villa Park. Shakhtar with the cross. This is Pedrinho, looks for the shot. Good block by Lewis Skelly. Shakhtar there still threatening. Eguinaldo, right-hand side. Back to Bondarenko. Bondarenko, Kolopiaya. Little dummy there by Krishkip. Scooped into the air by Sudakov. Volleyed away by Moreno. Shakhtar, remember, are still looking for their first goal in this Champions League campaign, but they are pushing Arsenal back. Here on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app. Kevin, infield. The Arsenal supporters now trying to play their part to offer some vocal encouragement with just over 10 minutes remaining. Good spell, though, this from the Ukrainian champions. Bondarenko gets the ball back, plays it in field, looks for another return into the penalty area. Lewis Skelly tries to show his strength. Bondarenko is adjudged to have fouled him. Free kick to Arsenal. Looks a soft one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Arsenal get away with one there. Couple of quick 1-2s from Bondarenko. Drives into the box and shoulder to shoulder with Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly goes down. Bondarenko unhappy, but they're fancying this now. Shakhtar Donetsk. Yeah, that's so soft. Looking at the monitor, Arsenal get away with that one. Just not been clinical enough, Arsenal, not been ruthless enough in the final third. Ruthless with the defending so far, not in terms of putting the ball into the back of the net.
One of the coaches has spoken out of turn there for Shakhtar Donetsk of Marino Pusic, and therefore he's been shown a yellow card by the French referee. As Arsenal, with 10 minutes remaining, have the ball with the substitute Lewis Skelly, the 18-year-old. Gabriel to Saliba, passes the ball out, but it actually takes a diversion, falls to the feet of Bondarenko, who comes forward. This now is Eguinaldo, out to Pedrinho. Pedrinho will come on the inside, was losing his balance. Martinelli has done very well to bring that out of trouble, and Martinelli's forward ball has Raheem Sterling going ahead of him. Enrique, though, was on the cover, the left back dropping into a central area, and in fact there was 4 black shirts to deal with the 2 of Arsenal, and they dealt with it very effectively. There's another change being made by Shakhtar Donetsk. They do feel that they can still salvage something from this game. As the shot comes in from Sudakov, and it was off target, it was from distance, it was an ambitious effort. Let's get an update from the Championship game at Ellen Road. Adam Cottier.
It's Leeds 2, Watford 1. We're into 8 minutes of added time here. Dan James has just come close for Leeds. They most likely, but they are being made to squirm. Leeds 2, Watford 1.
Crawley 3, Lincoln 0 is the latest score, and latest in League 1. Barnsley 1, Charlton 2, and in the Champions League we'll go to Villa Park and Lee Blakeman.
Villa 2, Bologna 0 with 11 minutes to go. Villa cruising, bringing on Watkins, Jadon Philogene, Jacob Ramsey and Boubacar Kamara to see out time. Interesting sub by Bologna, bringing on Samuel Illing Jr. to play against his parent club, something you don't see all that often. Villa 2, Bologna 0.
No, it's not. Stevenage 0, Cambridge United 2. Barrow 1, Notts County 1. Latest scores in League 1 and League 2 respectively. I'll bring you all the results when they're all in here on 5 Live, as Shakhtar are going to be making a change, and it's going to be another attacking change. Lassina Traore, Burkina Faso international, coming on, formerly of Ajax. That was a slip by Martinelli, there was no foul. Konoplyanka gets the ball away, and Shakhtar here, there's a spring in the step from Shakhtar.
Yeah, absolutely. They're beginning to really fancy this. Braver with the press as well. When Arsenal have the ball at the back, they're gambling. They're desperate to get back into this game, but Arsenal are not seeing this one through comfortably by any means. Going to chuck on another forward, Shakhtar Donetsk.
Many people felt this was a home banker here for Arsenal, but Enrique, urged on by the Ukrainian crowd, fires over the cross, and it's pushed away at his near post by David Raya, and then Marino will get it away. But Shakhtar showing real spirit here in the closing stages with 7 minutes remaining, and Lassina Traore will be coming on, and the player who's going to be going off is Eguinaldo, the Brazilian.
Yeah, different type of striker they're going to see now. Eguinaldo, nimble and quick. Lassina Traore, stocky, one who plays more with his back to goal, more of a hold-up player. Like a bull he is. Like the Arsenal centre-halves. They love defending. That'll be a good contest, that.
He played under Erik ten Hag at Ajax. He scored 12 goals in 31 appearances, as Martinelli has just been shown a yellow card by the French referee. He's now in his 4th season with Shakhtar, 20 goals that he's scored in his 75 appearances. Barnsley have got an injury time equaliser at home to Charlton in League One. Barnsley 2, Charlton Athletic 2. We've got 6 minutes remaining. There was a flailing arm that caught Konoplyanka in the face. Shakhtar take the free kick. We're back underway with some 6 minutes remaining. Shakhtar lose the ball. Declan Rice now on that far side, the right for Arsenal. Raheem Sterling is available in field if he wants him. Rice, though, finds Moreno, turns and passes the ball back. Arsenal have committed red and white shirts into the Shakhtar half. Shakhtar, all in black, have got everybody behind the ball, working hard to try and retrieve it. 5 minutes remaining. 1-0 to Arsenal. Missing a second half penalty through Trossard. Here is Moreno, the Spanish international. Bromley have got their first win in 12. They've beaten second place Doncaster Rovers by a goal to nil. When the results are in, you'll get them here on 5 Live. Here is Havertz. Plenty of vocal support coming from that Ukrainian corner on the far side.
Yeah, they can sense it, but this is quite a good little spell, this, for Arsenal. Just popping the ball around, moving the Shakhtar midfield around, trying to be braver with the press, trying to set the press so they can really attack the Arsenal back line, but Arsenal moving the ball quickly.
Still leading by a goal to nil. Shakhtar go all the way back to Dmitro Riznik, who picks it up and then waits and rolls it out underarm to Matvienko. Normally when I've covered Ukraine on many occasions, and Matvienko in particular, I make a reference to Matvienko. I wasn't going to do it, I wasn't going to be that predictable. But Mark Ogden of ESPN has said something about now 4 and Matvienko when they were a hit in the early 80s. There's a nodding head from our engineer Duncan with appreciation. What was it? Get out of your lazy bed? Arsenal have got to make sure that they don't go to bed tonight being found guilty of being lazy and giving away a late goal with 4 minutes remaining, because they're going to be making another change as Shakhtar at the moment as they come forward and the ball is played out wide. And this is Kevin who's attacking. He scoops the ball into the penalty area. It's over the head of Traore and it's cleared on the half volley by Martinelli. Real Madrid have completely turned it around. You might recall they were 2-0 down at home, but Lucas Vazquez has now put them in front with 7 minutes remaining. Real Madrid 3, Borussia Dortmund 2, and Juventus are down to 10 men. They're still drawing 0-0 at home to Stuttgart.
How many times have we seen Real Madrid do that? Incredible resilience. They have incredible quality.
Marlon Gomez has come on for Artem Bondarenko. Tidy midfielder Bondarenko, and Jorginho is going to be coming on, and it's Trossard who's coming off. So Jorginho just to try and shore things up for the closing stages.
Yep. Another body in midfield. just to see it through. Arsenal know what's coming. Mikel Arteta, Shakhtar Donetsk are going to go for broke here. Throw bodies forward. Jorginho sit in front of that back four.
Right, here are the results in League Two. AFC Wimbledon 3, Morecambe 0. Barrow 1, Notts County 1, Cheltenham 1, Bradford City 1. Chesterfield also drew 1-1 at home to Colchester United. Bromley, as I say, got that first win in 12. At second place, Doncaster by 1-0. It finished Fleetwood 0, Crewe 1. Gillingham 0, Newport County 2. Harrogate 0, the leaders Port Vale 1. MK Dons 2, Accrington 1, Salford 2, Swindon 1, Tranmere 0, Grimsby Town 1, and Walsall keeping pace with Port Vale. They are just 2 points off the top after a victory at the Bescott Stadium, beating Carlisle by 3-1. I'll give you the League One scores in a moment, but meanwhile Arsenal leading 1-0 with 2 minutes remaining, have a corner kick, and Declan Rice is certainly in no hurry to take it.
It's just wandering over there, using all his experience. Arsenal in no rush. It's all about the victory tonight, isn't it? Not necessarily how they've done it. They would have liked things to have been a lot easier and smoother, but they've been pushed all the way, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Rice has been told to hurry up by the referee. He was stalling to take the corner kick. 5 red and white shirts gather at the far post. Rice to take the corner far side the right. We're about 90 seconds of normal time remaining. Rice, right-footed, goes very, very deep. Martinelli is beaten in the air by Conor Player. Comes to the substitute, who is Lewis Skelly, able to turn the teenager. Arsenal then got 3 shirts back, 10 yards inside the Shakhtar half, just to curb any counter-attack had they lost it. Jorginho was one of those defensive options. His passes the ball forward then. Lewis Skelly to Martinelli, darts in off the left touchline, passes the ball, outstretched leg by Rice, caught by the goalkeeper. Full-time scores then in League One. Barnsley 2, Charlton 2. The leaders Birmingham beat Bolton by 2-0. And because Wrexham were held to a goalless draw, their lead now is 4 points at the top. Bristol Rovers 1, Shrewsbury 0, Burton 2, Wycombe Wanderers 3. So Wycombe are now unbeaten in 9, and they moved within a point of Wrexham. Elsewhere, Crawley 3, Lincoln 0, Exeter 1, Reading 2, Leyton Orient 1, Rotherham 0, Peterborough 5, Blackpool 1, Stevenage 0, Cambridge 2, Stockport 1, Northampton 1, Wigan 1, Mansfield 2, and I mentioned that goalless draw at the racecourse ground. Give you the results in the 7:45 kickoffs in the Championship. Cardiff beat Portsmouth 2-0, Leeds beat Watford 2-1, Oxford 1, Derby 1, Preston North End 2, Norwich 2, Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea goalless, Stoke 2, Bristol City 2, and latest score Queen's Park Rangers 1, Coventry 1. But we've got 6 minutes of added on time, which we're now into here on the Champions League, the first of 3 successive European nights of football here on 5 Live. And Arsenal still leading by 1-0, but at least, as Real Madrid have got a 4th goal. Real Madrid 4, Borussia Dortmund 2. At least Arsenal are in the Shakhtar half.
Yeah, they are right in the far corner, but a fair bit of added on time. 6 minutes.
Long throw coming in, launched in by Partey, headed away. Sterling tries to get on into it. Partey heads it back again, over the head of Havertz. Matvienko is there to clear the ball away. Only partially cleared though by Shakhtar. Arsenal win it back, right corner of the penalty area. Sterling tries to weave his way through, but it's a very crowded box. The ball played back towards Sterling, and Enrique will usher it out safely for a goal kick to Shakhtar. I'll give you the latest scores in the Champions League. Villa still lead Bologna 2-0, Girona 2, Slovan Bratislava 0, Juventus down to 10 men, being held by Stuttgart 0-0, Paris Saint-Germain PSV 1, Real Madrid 4, Borussia Dortmund 2, Sturm Graz 0, Sporting 2. As it stands, Aston Villa are going top of the league phase of the Champions League with that 2-0 lead at Villa Park. Arsenal will move to 5th place with 7 points with this slender lead here at the Emirates, but Shakhtar are attacking over on that far side, the right. Ball played in field, little touch there. Kevin gets it back. This is Pedrinho, shoots from distance. What a save by David Raya. Low down to his left. He was superb against Atalanta. He would have seen that very, very late. He was sharply down to his left with a one-handed save behind, and that certainly protects the 3 points.
Oh, that's a stunning save. Pedrinho, all of 30 yards out. I'm thinking he can't score from there. He pings it. It's the left arm of Raya.
In comes the corner kick. Drops towards Kevin, lets it bounce, then hits it low and tamely and cleared away by Gabriel, and then Enrique volleys the ball forcefully high into the air. It'll drop and cleared away by Thomas Partey. They were indebted to the brilliance of David Raya in Bergamo on match day 1, and he certainly secured or saved the 3 points there if it remains 1-0 to Arsenal. It was a very, very strong arm to keep out that effort from Pedrinho. Shakhtar still aren't finished. 6 minutes a minimum, and we're halfway through it now here at the Emirates on 5 Live. Shakhtar being urged on by the travelling support. They've committed every black shirt forward into the Arsenal half. Matvienko waits. Matvienko runs forward, then touches the ball back. Arsenal have got everybody back behind the ball. They once again will work it out towards that left-hand side, and then all of a sudden there's a darting run on that left. 2-weight, 3-weight in the penalty area. In comes the cross. Pedrinho looked like he was going to go for the overhead. Picked up on this near side by Sudakov, the highly talented Ukrainian international. Konoplyanka now forward, out towards Sudakov. Dangerous ball in, cleared on the full by Gabriel. Out to Martinelli, back on this near side. But Martinelli's been closed down by these Shakhtar players. They're finishing strongly, Shakhtar Donetsk. Still looking, remember, for that first goal in this Champions League campaign. Little flick by Krishkiv. Sudakov drops his shoulder, runs forward, edge of the area, looks for the return. Krishkiv has stayed in the attack. It's his cross from the right-hand side, and the header is caught by David Raya. And Arsenal are firmly on the back foot, and David Raya will stay down. Secured and assured handling.
Yeah, Arsenal hanging on in there. What a spell from Shakhtar Donetsk at the end of the game. They work it well down the right-hand side. The ball just stood up, and the header, not enough power on the header, but David Raya does really well under pressure from Traore, who's all muscle. He clutches it at the second attempt. Just watching this effort from Pedrinho, again, such low back left, the power he gets, he pings it, it's going into the corner of the goal, and that save from David Raya, that's a brilliant save. What a moment. They've surprised me, Shakhtar Donetsk, and they have pushed Arsenal all the way here.
Certainly have, but they're running out of time with 60 seconds remaining. Stuttgart, against the 10 men of Juventus, are going to get their first win, it would seem, of this Champions League campaign. They now lead in Turin by 1-0. That was the only goalless game in the Champions League before tonight. Girona have beaten Slovan Bratislava 2-0. Arsenal will travel to Girona for their final game in the Champions League. They'll hope by then that they may have qualified inside the top 8 as the ball is played through towards Havertz. Arsenal now will be relieved to see the ball and just keep it in the Shakhtar half, as scythed down was Havertz by, I think it was Enrique. He's going to be shown a yellow card, and Arsenal, with the 30 seconds remaining, are going to have a corner kick on that far side, the right.
Mikel Arteta is just hoping and praying that Havertz, that was a two-footed challenge actually, and Havertz does well to avoid it. Back on his feet. What a daft challenge.
Real Madrid 5, Borussia Dortmund 2. Remember the Champions League highlights on BBC One tomorrow night at 10:40. Real Madrid, who were 2-0 down there in the Bernabeu, convincingly running out winners there, and Aston Villa have won as well. That's a full-time scoreline. We'll get news of that from Lee. But at Villa Park, it's Aston Villa 2, Bologna 0, and Villa are top of the league phase. And Arsenal also remain unbeaten. They're still yet to concede, but what a hard-fought victory this has been. It's finished at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 0.